There exists this seemingly innocent habit that ruins your life and nobody is talking about it. Everyone's talking about how watching porn is bad and how playing video games is bad.
A lot of guys don't want to admit this, but honestly, every single time you play video games, your life does get worse. It's only by a small amount, but then suddenly you look back and you've been playing video games for 10 years, messing up your mental health. And I totally understand because they are so fun. And I was literally a full-on gamer for like 15 years. Those activities that feel pleasurable right now, but then lead to pain later.
But this habit is arguably even worse. Let me put it this way. I am convinced that if I go to Miami, Florida, or Las Vegas, or that kind of place, I'm gonna riz and pull a 10 out of 10 baddie that is blonde and has an hourglass physique, and we will not only date, but we will start a successful business together. I am convinced that this will happen. I don't see what could possibly go wrong. I don't think that I won't have an opportunity to meet a woman like this, and I don't think she will reject me if I ask her out, and I think everything's gonna go fine. Why do I think this way? Why am I so convinced that nothing will go wrong? Why am I so entitled to a specific outcome? Well, it's because I have spent a lot of time daydreaming about having a blonde bombshell by my side, having a lot of money, a lot of fast cars, a huge mega mansion, and all that. I've been daydreaming a lot about that over the past few years. Nobody ever talks about how whenever you daydream about you being successful in like 10 years, you all of a sudden become convinced that this will be reality, that this will be your outcome. And so you get entitled to said outcome. And when it doesn't work out, you get surprised and you start stuttering. But I have daydreamed about this all the time. When you are so convinced of a specific outcome, everyone will shame you. Everyone will call you a spoiled, entitled narcissist. But no one ever realizes how a simple action like daydreaming is what causes spoiled and entitled behavior. That is what causes entitlement. I used to daydream about being one of those red pill alpha males, and I would earn a lot of money and get a lot of women. But now that my videos get barely any views, I have realized that I will probably never become that. I will probably never have that outcome. And when I have built up that image of my success in my head for all those years, only to one day wake up and find out that this probably will never happen, it fucking hurts. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it and be like, positive vibes! No, it fucking hurts. In 10 years, I might possibly have a life that many people could consider a good life. I might have a stable job with a stable income. I might have a beautiful woman by my side, and we will have amazing sex that will lead to us having a lot of children. But I will still feel miserable, because that is not the outcome, that is not the vision I have been daydreaming for all those years. And so it fucking hurts to me right now, and I'm currently trying to accept that the reality that I have built up in my head for all those years, that my future might not actually happen. I am currently working on accepting that, and I'm not gonna lie, it is a really painful and slow process, and a very difficult process, which is why the best way to avoid getting into this sticky situation in the first place is to not daydream. Daydreaming is arguably worse than watching porn and indulging in all those other habits that everyone else talks badly about. Whenever you spend time daydreaming about your future success, you can spend that time instead on planning how you can get to that successful future, if you can even get there. Steve Jobs had this like vision that was called like signal to noise ratio, where 80% of the time he would dedicate on planning how to get wherever he wants to be and on doing productive work. And only 20% of his time he would spend on daydreaming and indulging in hedonism and all that. And Elon Musk, he spends 100% of his time on just being productive. Elon Musk doesn't daydream, and that is why he is more successful than you. That's why he is more successful than me. That's why he is more successful than anyone else. That's why he is the richest man in the world, and that's why his income literally grows exponentially, and one day he will have all the money in the world.